Artificial intelligence, or I shall try to use the expression that was introduced yesterday by His Eminence, Metropolitan Nafpaktos, Mr. Ierotheos, technical intelligence. I have learned a lot of things during these days as far as the distinction between nous, as we say, and intelligence. So His Eminence said yesterday that in Greek, the word intelligence, correct, we should better use the term wisdom. So artificial wisdom, artificial intelligence is an integral part of space research and exploration, as it actually enables to shape a new way that we understand the world and space around us. It enables, of course, research and, of course, in our plans for the future space travel. My speech is rather technical, but I will try to limit myself to some technical parts and simply focus on the ethical dilemmas and the ethical challenges related to the use of AI in space exploration. So AI, what it actually does is that enables autonomous decision-making, intelligent data analysis, and a human-robot collaboration. These are the main aspects of features where AI assists space exploration. So in this way, it has opened up new frontiers in space research. So I guess that in this way we can have some major ethical dilemmas and questions that I shall try to present. Now, briefly, I will try to refer to the role of AI in space exploration. Now, the most common example, I guess, are the Voyager missions, that although they are 50 years old, in the 70s they were launched, still they used a major part of AI, especially as far as the AI in automation and communication. So one of these missions, one of these voyages, could actually rectify directly how they navigate, and it could actually utilize and use some limited objects of the project and tasks without direct human intervention. So truly, it is one of the, let's say, initial examples of early use of AI in space. Now, nowadays, I dare to say that it is currently used in the so-called Mars rovers, like Curiosity and Perseverance, which both rely on AI to navigate in rugged terrain autonomously. So AI allows them to make decisions in real time. In other words, whenever they have a set obstacle, they can optimize a way to overcome this obstacle, and identifying paths which are safe, and of course they are scientifically important. So this autonomy is vital for the exploration of Mars due to the delay in communications between Earth and Mars. Because a signal to arrive from Mars to us, from Earth to Mars, range from 4 to 24 minutes, according, of course, to where Mars is located. So this makes sometimes the communication between rovers and Earth impossible in real time. So whenever there's an obstacle, to send a signal, say, what am I supposed to do right now? And then receive an answer after, let's say, 15 minutes. So the rover would have, reverse if not taken the decision autonomously. So this is a major characteristic of AI in space industry. And of course, any other explorations that go to the so-called deep space, for such missions, they do need AI application systems in order to be able to autonomously proceed to decision-making without human intervention, once again due to the great distance and, of course, to the lag in the communication due to this great distance. Another field where AI plays a major role and is a very efficient data processing from space explorations and missions. Because as we heard earlier, what defines AI today is the very rapid calculations. So in other words, rapidly, in an accelerated way, we can get results that humans would take, I don't know, years, decades to arrive at conclusions. So as you do understand, there is a certain evolution in the way that we explore space via and through AI. But of course, this evolution, this development leads to some major ethical considerations, which is part of the second part of my speech. Because as AI becomes more autonomous and actually takes on critical decision-making roles, always I'm talking about space missions, because there are some particularities in space missions. And the most important feature is that space, due to the distance against Earth, and due to the very difficult and adverse conditions, does not let us do any, let's say, mistakes, so an error. So in other words, having an AI system that can take the appropriate decision in any given difficult situation is, of course, of great value for any effort of space exploration. So what are the risks of this autonomous decision-making? There are the so-called situations of high-stakes situations and autonomy. Now, if an AI system in a certain mission identifies a problem, a challenge, it needs to understand how it will resolve this problem by sacrificing part of the mission or risking the entire spacecraft. So the question is, how should it make that particular decision? Should it prioritize, for example, human safety, the success of the mission, or some other priorities, some other values? So these priorities are set by humans who programs AI. But of course, it was a pending question, and I'm going to refer to that around the end of my speech. So AI becomes rather autonomous. So it operates in a way which is, let's say, deliberate. And I guess that as it was mentioned in a book, in a great sci-fi movie, Odyssey of Space, the book by Arthur Clarke, and of course the film by Stanley Kubrick, where AI, which is the hero of the film, HAL 9000, actually kills most of the members of the crew in order to save the actual mission, success of the mission. So we understand this is a major ethical question, an ethical challenge, which asks our attention. Of course, similar problems do exist in robotics missions. In other words, how once again AI proceeds a decision-making process and whether it's accountable for these decisions. So when the ethical framework of the autonomous decision-making by AI includes two components, two parts. The first is the alignment and the safeguard of the alignment of values that is protected by AI, aligned, with, of course, with human values. Are we in a position to ensure this alignment? And of course, the second major issue is related to accountability and responsibility. In other words, for these autonomous decisions which are taken by AI, are they aligned, transparent, and justifiable with the mission's goals and ethical principles? So these things are not clear for the moment. So these are topics, these are issues that I dare to say are not yet clear how they are regulated and whether these are taken into consideration in programming AI. Now, the next part is related to data privacy and the ethical data use in space exploration. And this, of course, includes people, humans, and also data that we get out of this process. So, in other words, privacy is related to biometric data of participants of the crew. So in other words, we collect the data in real time, and there are, of course, privacy concerns. And the question is whether this data related to their health, their actual existence, how this data is used, especially if there are many countries and many companies who are active in such missions. And as far as planetary and space data information that we get, I guess I apologize to the translators. I make some changes to my speech in order to be able to arrive at the part that you do not have in your hands. Now, as far as the use of data and the data ownership and the information we extract out of this data, the major question is who owns the data, who will benefit from the information data that we get out of this space mission exploration. In other words, with all the data information that we have about space and, of course, the planets that are surrounding us, and also potentially for the future use of resources in space. Is going to be the whole humanity who will actually benefit? It's going to be a group of peoples or just some companies? So these are some major ethical concerns and questions that have not been yet resolved. So 2 minutes? No, I'm sorry, I cannot finish up in 2 minutes. Apologies. So I will now move forward and I will focus on a few other topics about the emerging ethical challenges and concerns which are related to the interaction between humans and robots. Because in space, we do understand that the mutual trust in space is crucial, it's very important, because if people cannot trust AI, then, of course, decisions can fail and lead to a catastrophe. So a balance between human control and AI autonomy is a very delicate issue. Another important issue is the so-called self-repairing and self-evolving AI, which is something that we do need in remote missions, but it also raises some questions as far as how this self-repair and self-evaluation can actually change how control we can should exert over AI, and also creators have not thought about, envisaged before that. So these are issues that have been examined and assessed greatly in sci-fi books and films against real life, to be honest. Similar concerns do exist with the medical AI-generated diagnosis. As we heard from the previous speakers, the great efficiency, efficacy of AI in identifying diseases, diagnosing diseases much more rapidly against the humans, in other words, doctors, but still ethical concerns. So I need to go to the conclusion of my speech. No, but I need to talk about these things. I guess I provided a certain stigma as far as this issue. So as far as the evolution of AI, of course, there are, let's say, different opinions. And we do know that we are at a very early stage, and these discussions are not that valid right now. And I guess I need to refer to a topic that was not discussed right now, as there is a financial incentive of investment, in other words, in this field. We do understand that AI shall improve itself, and this actually probably will lead to a true nightmare against the constant growth of AI, which is the full automation and autonomy, which will, I don't know, probably lead to a, let's say, sever this most nightmare scenario that one can actually think about, whether this is rather much forward. So my last proposal is the following. Allow me to suggest my personal agony against the spiritual and cultural repercussions of the penetration of AI, not in science that I talked about earlier, but in our daily lives. In other words, the fact that we cannot afford, or we do not want, or we cannot hear the other, the other with a capital O, meet the other in our lives, this leaves quite a great margin to machines to substitute humans in human interaction. And this is, of course, something very crucial. I guess we have not made such a reference yesterday and today, but this is a very crucial. It needs to be discussed. In other words, whether humanity face any danger. The danger is that people might be substituted by machines in his daily relations. And this will affect essentially young people. Thank you very much for your attention.